Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All Day Football Show. I'm your host, as always, Jackson Kellogg. And today, I know I'm a little late on this, but we had two trades happen within the last week during Patriots training camp. We're going to go over both of them before tonight's game, last preseason game on the road against the Giants. So let's get right into it. As the first player you see here, Sony Michel was traded to the Los Angeles Rams for, a little bit of compensation. So what it ended up being was a 6th round pick this year and a 5th round pick next year. So originally there was some really funkiness where it was going to be a 6th this year and a 4th next year, but the 4th was going to be based on a compensatory pick for the Rams. So the Rams safety Josh Johnson, who left during free agency, they're expecting a compensatory pick for him, about a 4th rounder, so they were going to trade that. NFL said, you can't trade a pick you don't have, so they changed the trade a little bit to make it a 5th for next year that they already have. So Michel goes to the Rams after. There's kind of two factors that led to it from both sides. So looking at it from the Rams' point of view, Cam Akers tears his, I believe it was his Achilles or something around that, something with his legs, out for the year. And then Darrell Henderson, their backup running back, has also been dealing with injuries. And they've been rotating a bunch of guys in the preseason with seeing who can come in as, like a third back on the depth chart. Not really seeing all that much out of it. So what did they decide to do? Go trade for a running back, Sony Michel. Then from the Patriots side of it, the Patriots had way too big of a running back room. They had too many running backs compared to the Rams, who didn't have enough. So this trade leads to the Rams having Sony Michel and Darrell Henderson as a 2-back group. Sean McVay did come out and say that that Darrell Henderson would be the main back and Sony Michel was the backup. We'll see how that plays out. I definitely think Sony Michel is the better back. So I don't know how that plays out there, but I expect Sony Michel to do better. What this means for the Patriots backfield, though, is that makes Damien Harris the one lead back. So the Patriots, you can still call this a committee, but Damien Harris is the bell cow now. He's not going to be splitting carries with Michel. None of that's going to happen. You still got James White, who's going to be a third down back. But what this trade really did was it showed how much faith they have in some of their backup running backs and younger running backs in Ramondre Stevenson and J.J. Taylor. Ramondre Stevenson, 4th round pick this year out of Oklahoma, has balled out in the preseason, same as J.J. Taylor, who was an undrafted running back last year out of Arizona, who stuck to the 53-man roster out of training camp, continuing that rookie undrafted streak, which sadly looks like it might end this year with Quinn Nordine. But that's besides the point. These running backs have performed so well in the preseason. They've been shown out in camp. They've played well enough to put faith in Belichick to say, I can move Sony Michel, who you know what you're getting at. You know he doesn't have the highest ceiling, but his floor also isn't crazy low either, so Sony Michel was a good back. Some will argue about his first-round status as he was taken with the 31st overall pick. There are guys taken after him. You've got Lamar Jackson with the pick before, Nick Chubb. There were a bunch of guys there. But overall, Sony Michel is the reason that they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl and made that playoff run. If it wasn't for Sony Michel in those games, there might not be a ring from the Rams. And you could argue that any running back could have ran behind those holes, as that was an amazing offensive line. But overall, Sony Michel's the one who did it. So I don't agree that he was a first-round talent worthy, but I also don't think you can call him that much of a bust if he brings you a Super Bowl ring. So there's a whole bunch of different arguments there, but wish him the best over in LA. The other trade that happened this past week was a little bit of one that we weren't expecting, as the Patriots traded for rookie cornerback Shaun Wade from the Baltimore Ravens. So they traded a 5th-round pick this year. The Ravens traded the Shaun Wade, who was a 5th-round pick this past year, for a 2022 7th and a future 5th. So for the Ravens, it's just getting a 7th-round pick for pushing their 5th-round pick down by 2 years. So a little bit of an odd trade there for the Ravens. It seems, though, as they felt like their cornerback room was too heavy and that Shaun Wade wasn't going to make the roster. So instead of sticking him on the practice squad where he's going to get picked up and moved somewhere else, they go and get a trade and get some value out of it. So Shaun Wade was a possible 1st-round pick coming out of Ohio State back in 2019. He was being put up as a 1st-round talent. Decides to stay another year. Does absolutely horrible. Does not play well. Drops all the way to the 5th round. Ravens pick him up. You can argue, the Ravens fans right now are kind of like, why would you draft him if you're going to trade him and if you knew the cornerback room was that deep? If anything, it was just best player available. Shaun Wade still has that talent, as he's shown in the preseason so far. He's played well in the slot. There's questions about how he can do on the outside. At the time of this trade, Jonathan Jones had gone down in practice with an injury. Wasn't known what was going on there, but it seems like he's doing fine. So I think this Shaun Wade move is more of a testament to the Patriots are not happy with their depth group. And what's really concerning is with this trade, the person that's now kind of on the block is Jawan Williams, former 2nd-round draft pick back in 2019 by the Patriots. Has not lived up to standards, has done decently in a gadget-type role where he's a matchup DB, but hasn't really done much other than that. He's not a starter. He's not going to be out there playing on your wide receiver 1s and 2s, and he can't play the slot. So with Gilmore, J.C. Jackson, Jonathan Jones as the top 3 corners, that battle for 4 and 5 behind him is getting really interesting, and Shaun Wade looks to move into that 4-5 spot. You even have Jalen Mills there. So that's 5 right there, because they haven't even played Jalen Mills at safety all that much. They've been playing him at outside corner. So that's 5 corners right there. Are you really going to carry 6? That's the question. In the safety room, that's loaded. You've got Devin McCourty, Kyle Duggar, Adrian Phillips all back there. You've got Cody Davis, who's a special teamer. It's not looking good for Jawan Williams, as there's not a ton of room left for him to come in at, and his spot on the team might look to be disappearing. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded. Been very busy, and it's not going to get all that much better as I'm going back to school. So I'm going to try to keep a consistent thing where I'm going to do like one long video every week going over a bunch of stuff, Patriots stuff, all whatnot, going over games possibly, mini power rankings. They're kind of being the same style that I did in the last power rankings video. We're not going to do going over the full 1 through 32. We'll do like the top 10, just going through that. But again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you all later. Go Pats.